Here we go, on three. 1, 2, 3. Can't even follow.
It would be hard to overstate the historical impact that Mike Huckabee has had on the outdoors in Arkansas and on the tourism industry in Arkansas.
By them having a place like this, I have a feeling it will not only enhance education and conservation, but the overall quality of life for all of us.
You know, back in the Conservation Amendment campaign, and we actually went to him, here's this Republican and we're talking about this tax, will you please stay out of it? He says, what are you talking about? He says, I'm all for it. And he says, I want to do a river trip all the way down the Arkansas River in 4 days. Well, we did, and he loved every minute of it.
I genuinely believe that he doesn't see party, color, gender. I mean, when he deals with people, he's just dealing with people. And I think that whole conciliatory attitude that he has, the sign in his office that says, come let us reason together, he really practices that. I've said before that in a perfect world, we wouldn't have to work on diversity. But the world's not perfect, and we do have to work at it. And I'm very proud that he made a point to be diverse in his administration.
Well, I'm an example of that. Personally, I'm one of a few blacks, African Americans, who are cabinet members at this point in time. In addition, he's appointed minorities to key boards and commissions.
In his view, he wanted the best. That was number one, regardless of their political persuasion. He was very focused on getting people that would do right by the people of Arkansas. And then secondly, he was very conscious about the opportunity to bring in diversity into leadership positions in the state government.
He's good at trying to figure out how to bring folks over to his way of looking at things, and good at bringing up alternative arguments or alternative scenarios you may not have thought of otherwise.
In a lot of agencies, it was just the matter of caring for people in need. It had nothing to do with Republicans or Democrats or who they were, or it was just a caring effort on his part.
People that I had heard would never go along with a plan if a Republican governor was pushing it. He quickly won them over. Even though they didn't want to be won over, he won them over. So he's just a remarkable human being.
It was so neat to see how he was such a consensus builder, that he used that ability to be that winsome personality, but also an amazing knowledge of the facts, but that fundamental belief that people can come together and work together as a team to get something done.
To me, that's been his mantra throughout his entire administration, throughout the 10 years that he's been governor, is let's do the right thing. Let's do the right thing for the state of Arkansas. Let's do the right thing for the citizens of Arkansas.
When we opened the Washington, D.C. office, he made it very clear that he wanted the D.C. office to operate in a bipartisan, if not almost nonpartisan spirit, because his attitude is that working with our congressional delegation and working with National Governor Association, our job was to pull people together and get ideals. There was a lot of anticipation and a lot of excitement about Governor Huckabee and his role with NGA and the National Governors Association, simply because I think he had proven himself to be not only an ample advocate for the positions that governors as a whole would like to take, but also he's a good orator and he could explain positions very well.
He is an incredibly quick study. He can grasp the nut of the idea pretty well before you get down to, and when you're building a logical argument or logical case or trying to build a logical explanation towards an end, he can get down to that quicker than you can.
The governor is better than anybody I've ever seen at able to pick up on the first jump something and be able to turn around and explain it better than I explained it to him. He's just brilliant is what he is.
Unbelievable. Anybody who's ever worked for Mike Huckabee can tell you, you can never get ahead of Mike Huckabee, because he gets up, he's on email about 5 o'clock every morning. He's already read every paper in the state by the time I would get out of bed.
As governor, he's on the road all the time. I'm just always in awe when I see his calendar or when I travel with him, you're beaten down to a pulp, and he's still going. There isn't a day of the week, there isn't a time of the day that he's not available.
But there is a wellspring of energy that he's always had, but it has intensified with his health crusade. I think he's eating better, sleeping better, and he's very rigid and very good about a schedule. He really sticks to a schedule. He's notorious for being on time, wanting everything to run on time, and I think he just does that classic cliche of plan your work, work your plan,